Hello there, planner friends. Long time no talk. Welcome back to my channel. I've been really busy. Fall was really busy. A little bit of travel for work, a little bit of travel for personal, and just a lot going on. So I haven't recorded any videos, but I have been using my planner, and I thought I'd do a walkthrough of November, show you what I did, how I used my planner in the month of November. You'll notice I'm in personal size. I'll talk a little bit about what you see here, and then talk a little bit about December, what I'm thinking about for December. I'm also working on a video for my 2023 plans, so I'll share that with you in another episode. But let me just talk a little bit about a couple of things. First of all, this is a Moterm, the new veg tan leather. Personal size. This is the green. I think it's called evergreen or forest green or pine green or something like that. But that's the color it is. It's that, really beautiful, dark, deep green. And I don't know if I mentioned it on my channel before or not, but I've kind of had this hesitation to use my Moterm planners, even though I ordered them, because I just felt like they were too stiff and the leather wasn't comfortable to me to use. It just felt stiff. And I tried conditioning them with some leather conditioner. That helped a little bit. And I was thinking seriously about selling them, but given how hard they are to find, I knew if I sold them and I regretted it, that I would probably never find them again. So I didn't sell them. And then I decided, okay, you've spent this money on them, you should use them. And I've been using this green one for most of November, part of October, all of November, and I am in love. I think this is a kind of leather, depending on, and maybe some of you have had a different experience, but for me, this is the kind of leather that needs some wearing in. Like, you have to carry it. It has to get the oils from your hand on the leather. You have to use it to get it kind of broken in, softened up. And the more I use it, the more I love it. I don't know if you can tell how it's curving around the pages in my planner here. It's got a nice, it's starting to really fit and wear in. And now I absolutely, positively love it. And I'm wishing I had all the colors, which of course is kind of next to impossible to get. But really, really happy with it, especially because it has a 30mm rings. So I wanted to let you guys know, kind of a follow-up, because I think I may have mentioned in other videos that I wasn't crazy about my Moterm veg tan, and I think this is just a case of you need to use it in order to enjoy it. So now I'm going to try to use the other color. I have the chocolate brown and the I call it army green, but that color, olive, I think is the color they call it. And so I'm going to try to figure out how to use those. If you guys, and I say this knowing that the answer is probably nobody knows, but if you hear of anybody that is interested in selling any of the other colors in the Moterm veg tan, I'd really like to get the crimson red, and I'd really like to get one of the lighter colored browns. I don't really have a preference on the lighter colored browns, and I know those are the ones that are the most in demand. But if you hear of anybody, send them my way. Please let me know, because I would be very much interested in purchasing those. So without any other distractions, let me talk a little bit about what you see here. This is an example of how I store my used pages. A lot of people ask me, what do you do with rings? I would love to use rings. I love the flexibility of rings, but I don't know what to do to store them. I've done a video on this in the past, and I'll link it up above here. But what I do is I either use old rings, like these are some Moterm rings that are 25mm that I swapped out for 30 in a different planner. I use those, or I find these at Michael's. These are the inexpensive vinyl covers at Michael's. Look for them when they were on sale, and bought several, so I have them and I use these as an archive. I do save my pages, and I don't just save them for the year, I save them for the long term. So doing something like this, or even in the video up that I'll show you, if you want to look, I use rings that are big rings, like 2-inch rings that are separate, individual. And that's another way that I bind things off, especially, you know, like once the year is over, I put all of the year's pages together. That's what I would do. Now, I haven't been consistent in using my personal rings this year. So you see, I start with January, then I jump to September. I think there's June is in here, August is in here. So it's a hodgepodge of what I've done through the year. But I will, excuse me, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. I will put all this together at the end of the year. But I had already archived November for the most part because I had fun this weekend setting up for December. So the only thing I left in my planner of November was the first couple days of the week, and everything else is archived here. So here's October's pages, and as I mentioned, I'm kind of doing a little mini scrapbook, so I wanted to keep this handy so that I could finish journaling. And then this starts November. So I had this in the front of my planner. This is all Cocoa Daisy, if you're asking, Cocoa Daisy for the most part. This was one of the papers. I used that as the cover page in my planner. This beautiful vellum from Plan with Bee. So I guess not all Cocoa Daisy, but 90%. Cocoa Daisy dashboard, this is what started my month off. And then I always have a few extra sticky notes that I stick in here, which I'll probably pull these out and put them away. I had a few of the note pages from the notepad from the Cocoa Daisy kit, and I just stick those in the front. And usually I have them cut so I can pull them out easily. But like this was stuff that I was working on, talking with my mom about. This were meal ideas for the month. And it was just a good place to scribble stuff. The inserts you're going to see here that are Cocoa Daisy, this is the new Dory, the new Traveler's Notebook format that they're making for the personal size. Well, I think she has this new format across all of the Traveler's Notebook sizes she has, but I have discovered that I really, really like this format, and so this is probably what I'm going to be using. I know I'm using it for December, and then I'm trying to decide what I want to do for next year, and I'll talk about that, like I said, in another video. But the first page of the Traveler's Notebook has this nice month at a glance, so I just put in you know, some high-level big picture stuff there, marked off Thanksgiving, and then stuck some other post-it notes here in the front again, so I had a place to jot my notes. This was a free printable. Well, it's not free if you're not a subscriber, but if you're a subscriber, she has a free printable with some extra note paper that you can print out. If you're not a subscriber, it's $4 or $5 to download the free printable, and she has all the sizes that match the size of inserts she has. So it's a nice way to check out the artwork if you are not sure whether or not you'd like Cocoa Daisy. There's a whole bunch of other artwork that's included in the printable. I think it's like 10 or 12 pages long. So just something to consider. I added some stickers along the side. This is my running to-do list for the month. So this is kind of my big master task list for the month. I think I did pretty good for the month of November, given how busy things were. And then I just had some extra pages that I printed out and stuck here for things, and have somewhere I have my, oh, here it is. I also used the pages for Thanksgiving, so this was another way that I used it. I wrote down our menu for Thanksgiving, and then as we were cooking, I had these on the refrigerator, and as we were cooking, I was checking things off so we didn't forget anything. This was the timeline, how long things took to cook and what time we wanted to start based on when we wanted to eat. So this will get put in here too, to go with my November archive. Another thing that Christine has in her kits that lately that I really, really like are these acetate. They're heavy acetate, and I punch them to make a page marker. And then these post-it notes, these fit on here perfectly because she has sized them that way. And so you see you have a nice page marker with a post-it note, which is really nice. I really, really like these. I hope she keeps doing these. So anyway, moving on, I did continue to use my DIY fish weeklies. If you saw, I think the last video I recorded, I talked about the stripe pages and how they bothered me, and I just couldn't make it work. So what I did for November was I just printed out my DIY fish pages and I stuck them together. See, those are coming apart, but I stuck them together with some adhesive that was semi-permanent because I didn't want it to be permanent in case I changed my mind. And that's what I use for my weekly view. So nothing new here. The decorations are 90% Cocoa Daisy. This is from the weeks kit that they have. And I just kept track of, you know, important things, to-dos, my menu for the week, or things we ate. With only 2 of us in the house, I'm not doing as much meal planning. It was more of like, I don't know, what do you want to eat? I don't know, what do you want to eat? And then we figure it out. So this is more of what did we eat versus what I planned to eat. And, you know, November was busy, so there was probably more eating out than there should have been, but it's all okay. So that is my weeks. And then we go into the dailies. This came out of the Cocoa Daisy Traveler's Notebook. I cut it up, so this front page here, and then these are the individual pages. I just didn't use the stripe pages that would have been before that. So I'm using this like a bullet journal. This was actually from the October set, and then because I like the pumpkins, and then I start into November. Oh, I glued those pages together. That's why it's stuck. So this was the end of the October book, which has this beautiful thing. I'll probably take this adhesive off and stick this back in October. These are what the stripe pages look like that I ended up not using. And then it goes right into these grid pages. So again, bullet journal style, journaling. And then we had a trip that we went on. So this page was back in my notes section of my planner back, I don't know, last January, February, when we started planning the trip. And then I just moved it up to the front. And then this was more detail as I was making notes leading up to the trip. This was, this was the weekend we were gone. So I'm going to go back and add some pictures here, do some journaling, to document that trip. I just haven't had time to do that. I transferred to a green pen here, which I really liked how it looked on the page. It's a Rytec. These pens are really nice if you've not tried these. These I found on Amazon, and it was a pack that I want to say it was like a vintage colors or whatever, but this color, kind of blue-green, matched perfectly with the Cocoa Daisy color for November. So I used it most of the month until I put it down somewhere and couldn't find it. And then I transitioned to the blue-black that I always use. So here's my bullet journal pages for the month. Not a whole lot going on the pages for a good part of this because my mom was visiting, and when my mom visits, I don't open my planner. I just focus on her and having fun when I'm not working, doing things with her. So that's why there's some blank pages in here. Don't beat myself up about it. And then that's my, this is where I'm starting to archive things from 2022. So there's some information back there about bill payment and stuff like that. So at the end of the year, all of that will go together. That is my November flip through. And then I'll be sharing in another video with you what I've set up for December in this beauty. I'm going to continue to use the green Moterm planner for the month of December. So stay tuned for that, as well as a video on my plans for 2023. And hope everything is going well with you guys. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Did you use your planner to plan your Thanksgiving dinner, or did you fly by the seat of your pants? I'm one of those kind of people that I have to write it down to help me think it out. So that's one of the things I'm really enjoying about being back in my personal planner is I have more room than I did in some of the other sizes I've used this year for jotting notes and things like that. She's a chunk. She's a lot to carry around, but it's worth it to me to have that space. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you did in terms of planning out Thanksgiving. I'd be curious to know what method you used. And if you were as, I don't want to say detail-oriented, but list-oriented as I was to actually have my list on the refrigerator and checking them off as I went. It's the first year we've ever hosted Thanksgiving So it was a kind of a milestone to me in our life to be hosting Thanksgiving, and I wanted everything to turn out right. So that's why I had all the lists on the refrigerator. Also, I am a victim of a new kitten. If you see all the scratches on my hands, I'm really okay. I just have a new kitten who loves her mommy very much. Okay, that's all. Enough rambling. I hope you guys are well, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know about your Thanksgiving and what you did for your plans and how everything turned out. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.